live stream. Nice. All right, I got 6:30 on the clock. Welcome everybody to the September 21st, 2021 meeting of the Zoning Board, Rockland Zoning Board of Appeals. Let's see, I could use a, let's see, we'd like to open the meeting. I guess I need a, actually, no, first, before I say that, just so everybody knows, all board members and associate board members are participating remotely. That would be Greg Tanzi, myself, Rob Rosa, Bob Baker Sr., Timothy Haynes, Mr. Robert Baker Jr., and Stephen Galley. So I guess we need a roll call vote to open the public meeting. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Yes, myself is yes. Mr. Baker Sr.?
Yes.
Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
And that's it. That's all we got voting on this, so that's fine by me. Actually, full board member, Mr. Baker Jr., you want to
Yes.
open the meeting? Okay, perfect. All right, so let's read the advertisement. Let's see, 6:30 p.m. remotely conducted continuance public hearing on the petition filed under Chapter 40B. Comprehensive permit by Shingle Mill LLC, care of Conoco, 41st Street, Bridgewater, Mass. 02324, to allow the construction of 236 units of residential housing, the project, within two 5-story buildings on approximately 29.33 acres of land located at 0 Pond Street and 152 Wilson Street, the site. The applicant is proposing 25% of the units to be classified as affordable as per Mass General Law, Chapter 40B. The site is located on 0 Pond Street, Lot 13, Map 9, and 152 Wilson Street, Lot 68, Map 10. For some reason, a roll call vote is required. We already did that. A copy of this application materials, plans, and other documents are available upon request electronically from the town clerk or by dialing 781-871-1874. Press 1 for the town hall. Then option 6 for the, okay, we're good. All right, so from there, let's see, I received a letter that I will read. Robert C. Rose, Chair, Rockland Zoning Board of Appeals, 242 Union Street, Rockland, Mass. 02270, Shingle Mill Apartments, 0 Pond Street, 152 Wilson Street, Rockland, Massachusetts. Chair, Chairman Rosa, this office represents Shingle Mill LLC, the applicant, with respect to its application for a comprehensive permit to construct 236 apartment units at the above referenced properties. Please let this letter serve as the formal request of our clients to continue the public hearing to October 19th, 2021, and their consent to extend the time frame for the board to close the public hearing pursuant to 760 CMR 56.05, Section 3 through October 31st, 2021. Our client requires the additional time in order to adequately respond to the final financial peer review memorandum prepared by Kirk & Company and provided by attorney Robert W. Galvin on September 1st, 2021. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact the undersigned. Sincerely, Walter Mironi, Esquire, CC Robert Galvin, and Judy Barrett. So they're looking for another continuance. What do we have open in October? Deborah, Kim, whoever knows first.
I think
Yeah,
Deb would have that.
10/19 is free.
And do we, Kim, you got to confirm on that?
Yeah, I don't have anything for 10/19.
All right, so let's do, let's say 10/19, 6:30. I would entertain a motion to continue on to the October 19th at 6:30. Anybody?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I got the motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
I got a second. Roll call. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Baker Sr.?
Yes.
And Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
All right, it's continued until
This-
October 19th, 2021 at 6:30.
Rob, is this going to be the last one we're going to grant them?
I'll be honest, we can't. If they want to keep continuing it for the next 2 years, we have to allow it. I've already talked to Bob Galvin about it. I don't like it. I don't think anybody else likes it. But the problem is that if we don't, it gives them ammunition. And I'm not giving anybody ammunition for anything. So we have to respect their request and just be done with it. And to be quite honest, we should have expected this. They continued the conservation here. So it's like, I don't know what games they're playing, and I'm not gonna entertain anything at this point. All I know is that they want to continue. We're just gonna let them continue it.
Just for clarification, Rob,
Yep.
they are essentially in that respect then controlling the ZBA's agenda, right? We can never say at some point, no, you haven't presented any reasonable grounds for a continuance. It's going for a vote tonight.
I believe that at some point we can, but there's a statutory time period. I do have to go back over it with Mr. Galvin one more time just to make certain, but again, as I understand it.
If you could, and perhaps get that information out to the members of the board.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank
That's
you.
fine. But at this point, and like I said, they're continuing Concom, they're continuing us. I don't know what the deal is. So.
Are we gonna request?
Rob, it's Bob Galvin. I'm here.
Mr. Galvin, what's going on, sir?
Sorry, I was trying to log in and I couldn't get in.
No, that's fine. Can you address Mr. Baker Jr.'s question about how many continuances we're required to grant this applicant?
Well, I mean, you're not required to grant them any continuances, but if you don't grant them a continuance, you're going to be in a situation where you probably don't have enough information to approve the project, which would result in a denial, which would prompt an appeal, and you would end up hurting the interests of the town and the board in conditioning a project that in some state might be able to be approved, and you'd lose control over it makes no legal sense not to grant the variance. Not to grant the extension, because you haven't got enough information to approve it. They're not taking the position that they don't have a project that can be approved and cannot comply with state regulations. What we're seeing is that they have some significant factual hurdles and site conditions that they have to deal with. And I can't be specific because I don't know what all of those conditions are, but obviously they're conservation related and water related, and they're trying to sort them out. And if they can't sort them out, then we're going to be in a different situation altogether. But right now they're asking for more time to try to sort them out. And if you deny them that time, all you're doing is really hurting the board's ability really to understand what they're presenting and hurting your ability to properly condition a project if they have one at all.
Got a question?
Yeah, Rob, if I can ask Bob a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Bob, isn't it within our purview at some point to say, we believe we do have enough information to act on this, and therefore, and I'm not suggesting applying this to Shingle Mill, but in general, with any applicant coming before us, that we believe as a board, we have enough information to make a determination, an informed, reasoned determination. We are going to deny the motion for the continuance and vote on it tonight. I mean, if we're not in that position, and it's quite possible, it's something I'm just not understanding, that theoretically this matter could go on in perpetuity.
Theoretically, I guess, yes, it could go on in perpetuity, but as a practical matter, I don't see this board, and I've never counseled any board that felt that a matter like this could go on in perpetuity. But occasionally, projects run into obstacles as a result of something that wasn't known at the beginning of the permitting that may create a need, a good faith need to place a pause on a project. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. They've got some significant site conditions, and I don't know exactly what they are, but they're probably conservation related, which call into question whether the project as designed can be constructed. But that might result in this project being radically, or well, maybe not radically is not the right word, significantly downsized, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they'll withdraw. But I mean, I don't want to force their hand and have you deny them at this project and have you lose your ability to impose conditions on what would be then all the facts.
I guess or a couple of things that are confusing me in looking at their last two requests for continuance. The one before this meeting was they had a matter pending before the Conservation Commission, which I understand. Now, the reason for this time around is related to financial information being supplied to the report. And it seems like there is a different rationale every time, but nothing necessarily, and again, this might be my perspective because I'm not a voting member on this. I came in after it had started, but it seems like at some point, as I just mentioned to you, we need to say, or I shouldn't make that as a statement. I should ask as a question. I mean, can we say, based on what has been presented to the board up to this point, based on what has been proposed in terms of design plan proposal, we have sufficient information. We are voting to deny what has been applied for. Certainly, they would, I assume, have leave, or they would, or any applicant would have leave at some point to come back and reapply. But I think,
but that's not. But you're assuming that's what they would do. That's not what they would do. They would take your denial and say that there's no legal basis for it, and they have a project that they can permit, and they would go to the Housing Appeals Committee and deal with them only. And you would not. The only thing you'd be able to say is that there was significant, compelling matters of local concern that outweighed the regional need for affordable housing, and you would have a very, very significant burden on you to prevail.
so are you suggesting, Bob, that in a 40B, and I'm talking again, not with application to shingle mill, but in general
Right.
terms,
Yeah.
we are always better approving regardless of what's being applied for, because that gives us the possibility of imposing conditions rather
Well, I
than
think.
rather
He
than
didn't say that.
denying.
He didn't say
Well,
that.
let me kind of
That's what I'm asking, Ray. That's what I'm asking.
let me answer the question. Okay, it is rarely the case that you will see a set of circumstance that would justify a denial of a project like this, because the burden is so great on the town and the board to come up with a good enough reason to deny that outweighs the regional need for affordable housing. It's not an advisable position to take.
We're better off at this point. We're better off at this point, letting them continue. Because again, when it comes to specifically, when it comes to this financial peer review, it was, if you read it,
I did.
and again, most everything goes over my head. I'm sorry. It just, most everything goes over my head until you get to the last, second to last paragraph. When in the second to last paragraph, Brett Pelletier comes right out and says, I asked for certain documents. Those documents were not provided. So I can't make an educated guess as to whether this project, as to whether their performer is correct or not. So
Right, and sorry.
he's
and I
providing,
think
they are providing those, according to their request, they are addressing that. So they paid for this. I think it's good for them to be able to address this. So they can turn around and either Brett can say, yes, it's true, or no, it's not true. So
But we
if that's the
can't-
case,
But we can't say you had the opportunity prior to April 27th to provide that documentation. You were asked by Mr. Pelletier to provide it. You didn't provide it. And now 5 months later, you're using your lack of providing it then as a justification for continuing it now.
well, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not here to argue with it or with anybody. It just comes down to they're asking for continuance. And in the end, I think we do have a substantial amount of information. All right, we have a substantial amount of information from not only from the applicant, but from our peer review team, from the general public. I mean, we have a lot of information at this point. But if in the end they can turn around and say, well, look, we asked for a continuance to deal with this. They did not allow us to do this. We asked for continuance because we were up against the Conservation Commission and we had to deal with that. They didn't allow us to do that. I do not want to give anybody any ammunition in order that could turn around and hurt us. That's what it comes down to.
All right, so
Do I-
my recommendation, Rob, is
Mhm.
that you grant the continuance, because
Which we did.
I can't see any reason not to at this particular stage. And I don't think we're in a situation where we've asked them to provide information and they've refused.
Mhm.
I think the answer is, we knew they couldn't give us any of this conservation information, because of the site conditions and everything being underwater. Okay. And then they went to the summer, and whatever they found, and I don't know what it is that they found, but has created some type of a burden on them, and they're trying to sort it out. And we won't know what to do with this project until we know what that information is.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And Bob, I think you came in, again, you came in a little late. We had already voted and roll called to continue it until 10/19, October 19th.
Okay. I do have to, Rob, you should confine this discussion to board members, okay?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Or the applicant. I have to run to another one that's going on too, so I have two at a thing, so I'm gonna turn my microphone down. If you need me, just text me back.
You got it, sir. I appreciate it.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, Attorney Galvin.
Yep.
Mr. Galley.
Can I
you were-
ask
I
a
saw you
question?
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah.
First and foremost, Mr. Galley, I know you were raising your hand.
Thank you. Yes. There's just one basic question I wanted to ask when an applicant requests a continuance. Is there a restriction on how long, like, do you have to grant it within a specific time? Like he specified, they specified a date. Are you able to say, well, we're going to go for, longer into the future, like December or something like that? Is that
It's all based
flexible?
on, how long they're granting us the ability to make the decision through.
Okay, so it's an applicant, like kind of
And this-
grant an extension to the decision?
Yeah, see, for the 40B, technically it's 180 days,
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
We're well over 180 days,
Yeah.
but in a situation like this, they continue to ask for continuances. They also allow for an extension of time for the board to make the decision.
and the only thing I wanted to just say was the fear of allowing them to do continuances. This applicant is a money-making venture, so they don't want to delay the decision, breaking ground. So I don't think they're delaying it as a tactic that it gives them an advantage. So I'm just wanted to say that out loud. That's all.
No, I do agree with you on that. Mr. Galley, I do agree with you on that. I mean, this is supposed to be an investment, for them. So just continuing, making this go on longer is only hurting their bottom dollar. So I agree with you on that one.
Okay.
Rob,
Mr. Baker, yep.
this letter that he sent us, okay,
Mhm.
just for Mr. Baker Jr.'s information, the town did not send the financial peer review to them until September 1st. This is the company that we hired
Mhm.
to peer review.
Right.
Okay, we never got it to them till September 1st.
Because we never got because the town never got some sort of final answer. So now they're looking at it going, oh, okay, well, something happened here. So apparently they're trying to address that. And like I said, they continued through conservation as well. So there are issues. I don't think nobody can deny that. There are issues at this point. So
Thank you, Bob, for that information.
No problem.
all right, that's it. There's nothing else to talk about at this point from what I can see. Let me just go through the agenda here real quick. Non-deliberative announcements and scheduling. I think we're good at this point. Minutes, we don't have, I didn't receive any minutes. Did anybody else receive minutes at this point?
No.
Nope.
So we got no minutes to review. That's it. Again, Deb, are you gonna take care of the notifying the applicant?
Yes.
All right, so we got that. And other than that, just a roll call to, or motion to adjourn.
Rob, our next meeting is October 5th.
Does that sound right, Deb?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, I may not be there.
we talked about that. Understood. Mr. Galley, make sure you're there. Yes? Sounds
Mr.
like
Baker,
you, sounds like you may be a voting member.
Oh,
So that takes care of that. Anything else?
nope. Motion to adjourn.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
I got a second. Roll call. Mr. Tanzi?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Mr. Baker Senior?
Yes.
Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
And because this is just a roll call vote to adjourn, Mr. Baker Jr.
Yes.
Rock and roll. Enjoy the evening.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Night.